Hello again. I'm just gonna add to the last videos that we've shown. The first one was bending the top rail arches, and then the next one that I had was showing how we put around the base of the greenhouse with railroad ties. And one thing I needed to add to that is make sure it's good and square so that when you make the base of it, that it's not skewampus, that it's not out of square at all. That way when you put the plastic on, it'll be just exactly correct. Alright, let's get started. Okay, I wanted to just show you along the side of this how the wiggle wire works, how we attach the sides down. Really simple. You can see if we just take a look at this, it's just really clean. The water will just drain right off of it without any problem at all. And again, it's sitting on top of railroad ties that are all connected together, bolted together. Now, right here is wiggle wire channeling right in here, and it works really nice. Screw this to the side all the way down the edge here. The wiggle wire is right here. This is how that works. You can just take it apart really easy. If I choose to put a roll-up side on it, it's not even a big deal. Okay, and then so I hook that in, pop it in. It's just as easy as pie. Now this I actually need to, on a hot day, tomorrow or the next day, if I get the chance, I will pull it down and tighten it up. I tightened the lower end down there. I just need to tighten this end. It was all temporarily put in place. And let's see. I'm going to go inside and show you the other details from there. Okay, as you can see, it's still in the process of being under construction. The plastic up on top is just being temporarily fastened down. And let's go inside. All right. Now, this is an existing garden. It's still humid in here. The sun went down a little while ago. It's an existing garden. This side over here had a PVC hoop over it. And there's beets and everything's, it's just needing a lot of work in here, but we'll get to it. The big important thing is putting this, the covering on it. I planted, a little over a week ago, a bunch of fall lettuces and kale and spinach and all of that. All right, so I wanted to get in and show you guys here what I did on the ends to brace things up. These are swamp coolers that I put in, but the end wall that I put up over here is 2 by 6, and it's bolted down to the railroad ties. And I've taken it in segments and I've screwed it in right here. The sun in the background probably doesn't do it any good, so I'm going to pull over here. Boy, I've got hollyhock, all sorts of things. It'll all be getting yanked out. And I've got on this end, gosh, those are all the gooseberries and all of that. All right, so I'm kind of fighting all of this stuff that hasn't been cleaned out yet. So if we get in here, you can see the bracing, and I have cross bracing to hold this end wall up. That cross bracing, I used the trampoline to bend, just a slight bend on this piping that comes down. I used a slight bend with it so that it bends with the arch, if you can see that. So it's not in the way, but yet it's just firm. It's really good and strong. Okay. On these joints here, what I have is I've got 1 inch, it's a 1 inch pipe strap. And I put that on and pushed it around and bent it in and then screwed it on. And I used the sheet metal screws, screwed them in place. And again, along all of this, it's smooth. The plastic is completely not hitting any sheet metal screws. I didn't put any on the outside, so it's nice and smooth. the whole hoop over. Okay, let's get back down into here. So these right here, if you look at this, I brought it down and I anchored them in with these anchor screws right in here. And you can get those at the hardware store. Find the cheapest place to buy them in bulk. Probably 50 of them or so, I think, is all I used for this. I bolted in there, and then the regular hoop. This is a regular hoop right here, not a brace. And with that regular hoop, I have 1/2 of an inch. I drilled 1/2 inch hole into the bottom of this railroad tie, and then pounded in rebar down into it. And that rebar goes into the 1/2 inch hole, and it's firm in there. And I pounded it through the bottom of the railroad tie, and about 1 foot high. I came up onto this thing about 1 foot high and dropped this thing down over the top, and then in the bottom of it, I screwed in right there on an angle down into this. And boy, they hold tight, and they're very, very strong. They're tempered. So that's a good way to anchor it down in there. And then I've got each of them anchored all the way down. And as you can see, as it goes down in through here, you can see all of the top plate holding that all together good and snug. And you can see how that plastic goes right over to the edge. And it just gives it a great place for the runoff. It's clean. And let's take a look up in here. So I also put with the 14-foot tramp, I bent not a full bend like I had the arches up here, but I bent it to where we could put another structural support going up in there. And I did that every third one. In the very center, I still plan on putting it a little bit more of them in there. You can see the cross bracing across the top there on each of them. That'll provide a place for me to roll a shade cloth if I choose to put a shade cloth in here. And then I'll bust a vent out the end. Since it's fall right here now, I'm not worried right now. I'm just going to clean it up in here and get the grow boxes. Some of my plants do better in grow boxes. Some of them do better in the ground. And I'm going to probably, if I have time, show videos of that in the future. This is swamp coolers. I've got 2 of them up on top here. So I needed to have some good bracing coming off of that. And the swamp coolers will help keep the humidity in here. That's why I'm trying a closed system in here. And if I would like to, the goal is to make a video of the results. So it's going to be a fun test. But you can see up in there, I've also braced the top of that. It's just firm. It's really firm the way I've braced that all the way over. I hope the video shows the bracing up in there. And I arched that. Let's see if I can get up in there. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see that. I bent it just a teeny bit of a bend, again, to go right along with all of these top rail. And I'm shining it up. It's kind of hard to see up in there. Let's see. But if you look up in there, you can see how I used the pipe strap, pulled it over, and I pipe strapped it through here, and I put a 2-inch sheet metal screws in through the pipe strap, through the first pipe into the second. Now, I've got a MIG welder, and I could have welded them, but I decided not to do that. It's plenty strong the way it is, and this thing's got so many cross braces across it. It's had heavy, heavy winds, and it just doesn't even have a problem. Let's see. What else do I need to show you while I'm thinking about this? I'm going to put it on pause, and then I'll come back. Okay. I ran top rail on the very end as well. And the top rail over in here, I was able to take the wood and cut it in pieces and screw it with sheet metal screws up into that top rail as well. So it's all screwed in place all along there and up and over all the way across the arch. And then you've got your bracing that runs all the way from one end down to the other, and it connects into its top rail that's over the top of that end wall. That end wall actually had extra, it's just stuff that was laying around. It was that I put in here. It's a foam, 6 inches foam that's wafered between wafer board on the outside. And I pieced it together on the end there. But these braces are holding the two end walls together, and then they're cross braced, and it's quite secure inside here. And I think that's it for the video. I will show you more as I go further on with this thing. But for now, that's it. And excuse the mess in here, but I haven't really minded taking the mess and cleaned it up, but I will in the future when I get this thing battened down for the winter. Okay, take care and God bless.